Welcome to Andy's News Hours. As you know, on October 18th, there was a no-king protest march against Donald Trump. In this day and age, the deadliest weapon might not be the missiles or artillery, but rather the constantly guided public opinion. And today, we will examine how three media outlets employed three different narrative frameworks to shape the no king's protests into three separate events. First, let's look at the Guardian, which is displayed as left-leaning on outside and belonging to the Scots Trust. They interviewed 14 protesters who took part in the protest, and by choosing words like resistance and fight in their headlines, the Guardian portrayed the protesters as heroes fighting to protect democracy, and characterized Trump as tyrant who must be resisted. The protests were portrayed as a legitimate civil resistance movement for the future of democracy. Secondly, Fox News, a media outlet owned by the Fox Corporation and labeled 100% right-leaning by outside, used two articles to tell their narrative. One quoting Trump's quote, "I'm not a king, I'm working myself," and the other quoted the protesters' motivation, which is disgusting. The first one was highlighting Trump's hard work and portraying him as a hardworking, ordinary guy. At the same time, they played a war game with the protesters' motives, insinuating that the term discussing, which originally used by the protesters to describe the government action, was the protesters' own motivation, thereby successfully marginalizing the core demands of the protest. So, having discussed the extremely left-leaning and right-leaning media outlets, the final one is Sky News, which shows relatively middle on all sides. When you Google the term Sky News No Kings, the first thing that pops up is their report on Trump's using an AI video mocking the protesters. They report the protest as a joke or a digital farce in America. So this sensationalist reporting, they turned the serious political conflict into an entertainment and emphasizing the elevation of these protesters. Returning to the root cause of this protest, why is Trump being called king? The answer lies in the protesters' fear of the over-centralizations of his executive power. Yet, the response of Trump government and its other media has been a strategy of double denial of the protester claims. Right-leaning media have been responsible for portraying the president as a hardworking civilian hero while stigmatizing the motives of protesters. And the national media has been responsible for entertaining and turning these protests into a joke. The end result was that instead of promoting discussion of the core conflict, these media outlets are increasing the schism of social perceptions. This dismissal or entertainment coverage ultimately lead to the marginalization of the resistance movement as portrayed by left-leaning media outlets like The Guardian and downplay this key effect of Trump's concentration of power. Hello, and welcome again to Andy's News Hour. The US government is shutting down over the budget. So, what's the cause of the shutdown? And what are the media doing to help us to understand the impact on our lives? In today's podcast, I'm going to look at three different areas of the media: mainstream, mass, and specialty, to see how they are presenting their perspective on the cost of government shutdown. ABC News, which represents the mainstream media in the United States, is owned by the Disney Corporation and is known for its left-of-center leanings. In the report, Trump was permanently quoted as saying unprecedented opportunity to make cuts, which is the most straightforward and simple way to let readers understand that the government shutdown or the budget is actually a long-planned move by Trump to weaken the Democrats. So, in ABC's words, the cost of the government shutdown, as they present it as a democracy being used as a tool to punish the political opponents. But when the camera shifts focus from the political battle to the kitchen of regular folks, it's reveal a different kind of cost. The U.S., a business tabloid owned by the News Corp, leans right, but its headline and writing are usually unextracted and emotional. Instead of looking at why the government shut down, they focus on the fact that would stop providing benefit to low-income American families. So, in their words, the cost of the government shutdown is going to mean that lower class are going to go hungry. So, beyond the silly political scribbling and the food crisis for the least well off, are there any other hidden costs? The answer is yes. The specialized media outlet Civil Aids has both some pretty big implications. This media outlet, which focuses on the U.S. food system, pointed out that the agricultural research and statistical agencies under planning welfare program have been forced to furl off 90% of their staff due to the government shutdown. They think the cost is more than just empty plates on November dinner tables. The damage to the data that need to support food security and agriculture policy in the coming year is a much big cost than that. You might ask, apart from the view of this media outlet, is there any other way to report on the effect or cost of the America government shutdown? I think all these stories are all about the crisis that following on government shutdown, but the media could focus on how to stop the next media shutdown. Maybe we should focus less on the cost and more to how to change the political system so it doesn't keep leading to shutdown. If we can get public to look away from current crisis and disruption and towards making big change to the way Congress works, that could be an important step toward avoiding another long government shutdown like this one. This week, our podcast will focus on major military parade in China, where Chinese leader Xi Jinping invited Putin and Kim Jong-un to participate. The key question is, through making the 80th anniversary of People's Republic, is this parade a grand celebration or a challenge to the Western dominant order? Today, I will look at how three well-known news organizations from different countries, The Guardian, Al Jazeera, and ABC News, reported on this event, showing the political views of West, the rest of the world, and the US. We talked about The Guardian before, a well-known British newspaper. As a Western mainstream media outlet with a left-leaning bias, they often take a critical stance toward authoritarianism when reporting on the international news. By quoting experts, they emphasize that the image of leader of China, North Korea, and Russia walking on the red carpet actually send a defiant signal to the West. This make it clear to audience that the parody is meant to tell the world about a known Western alliance that is forming and will continue to challenge the international order, which is once dominated by the West. Now that we look at how the West covered it, we will move on to how the rest of the world covered it. Al Jazeera, an international news organization headquartered in Qatar, is renowned for its non-Western reporting angle. Unlike The Guardian, Al Jazeera not only focused on the leader in attendance, but also on the reason behind China's action, which is its history. The reporter emphasized the significance of its military parade in the national psyche, as it reflects the history of foreign invasion and humiliation China endured over the past century. Through this historical lens, Al Jazeera explained to its audience what is China's motivation for building a non-Western alliance to resist another incursion of Western hegemony. Finally, ABC News, a well-known American TV channel, clearly showed that it liked to talk about problems in the U.S. government. They chose to use Trump's conspiracy theories as headlines on purpose. Their plan was to grab readers' attention with the most shocking title, and then use the parody as evidence. This plan clearly changed the focus, turning the military parade into resource for domestic American partisan battles. In my opinion, these three new organizations look at the same parade and report it differently because of their different political views. This kind of reporting shows how divided people are in today's global conversation. Western mainstream media sees a diplomatic parade as a threat or conspiracy, but non-Western nations sees it as an act of cooperation and historical resonance.